It's a special week. It takes a special plan to get ready for the Las Vegas Raiders on a Christmas day, on a week that you didn't want to see them in the first place. How do they get there? What do they do? Welcome to RGR Football. He's Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. This is RGR Football. We run down the Kansas City Chiefs, the NFL, the draft, the whole 9 yards. And I know some of you are interested in the draft yet. We're not there yet, though. We have a lot to cover because this is a special week. Here in RGR East is what I call this when I'm visiting and we're in the studio. You saw us for the draft. We were here together. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing fantastic. You know, it felt like Christmas skipped kind of snuck up on me real quick this year. I was not anticipating Monday of being the day. You know, I was just thinking, we got like 2 weeks still. I know that's we got like 3 days, and it's already here. So we're all running around with our, like chickens with our heads cut off and trying to make everything happen. But at the end of the day, we get to watch Chiefs football on Christmas after you guys have opened up all your presents and stuff like that. Like, this is going to be a nice day. We're all going to mostly are going to be at home or with family. You get to put on the Chiefs, sit around, watch the games together. So I think it's going to be a pretty good time.
I agree. I just hope that we have everything done and I've had some food before I start to take my notes because I am with my extended family this trip and they have never seen me try to take notes on a ball game before. So that should be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Merry Christmas to you, Terry. Obviously, we are live earlier in the day just because of the travel and all the schedules here. We're just going to knock this out. So if you're watching on replay, we appreciate you. And sorry, we had to go a little bit earlier than we expected, but nice to see you. Make sure you like and sub and be part of this channel. Hit that bell because while I'm here, the whole schedule is going to be a little bit off. We'll figure it out as we go. We want you to get those notifications. As it comes down to this game, and we will answer a couple of your questions as we go through today, but we want to take a look at the breakdown. And for me, I put it up top in the thumbnail and the show because this is what it comes down to. A lot of struggles this year, a lot of frustrations. We've been up and down both sides of the ball, but this is where they're in the position to clinch the AFC West yet again, sweeping. I mean, this is going to be more years than the Las Vegas Raiders can remember since Al. That's exactly where we're getting here. And I think that I want to take the moment for being Christmas time to just revel in the fact that, yes, it's been a challenging season. But we're right back here again, looking at being the AFC West champion. And that goes a long way, not only to secure you a 4+ seed and still keep you in the mix, but to keep you where a level of pride in this organization. I think that's what it comes back to. I think it comes back to having pride in the organization and yourselves and what these players need to do to continue to ramp up. And I think this is a really good time to be able to clinch, to be able to focus on that and really push yourself past where you've been so far this season. How do you see it? And what's your feeling around the whole thing?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like, this is where we usually see the Chiefs kind of get their game plan together for the postseason. And I know that they've had many more missteps this season. If we even go back to last year and down the stretch, they played a lot of close one-score games. They came out on the opposite end of those where they won. This year, those closer games in the fourth quarter where they've either started slow or finished slow, they have lost those football games. The Bills in the regular season doesn't bother me personally. Like I've said, if I have to see the Chiefs lose to the Bills in the regular season every year just so they win against them in the postseason, I'm totally okay with that because they have not. Everyone makes a big point about the Bills going into Arrowhead this year and beating the Chiefs at Arrowhead, but have they done that in the postseason? No, they haven't. So that's the kind of thing that I think I'm really looking at right now is that these games, as much as I'd love to have seen the Chiefs win them and how frustrating it is after those losses, they get information. They're gathering information. I personally believe last week is how the Chiefs are going to start playing on offense. 12 personnel. Here we come. You guys, I did the film review on Wednesday. It was their most explosive personnel grouping that we've seen probably all season. And I think that's going to continue to go forward that way. So they've been getting all this information, figuring out what works best, and they were able to do that last week without Isaiah Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco adds a whole different element into this offense. The defense has been fantastic all season. It's been the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has ever had, and I'm just excited about the possibility of having that kind of defense in the postseason when this team typically raises their game to a different level. Now, we're going to find out a lot about them this season, and if this young offense and these wide receivers can make some plays in the postseason. But at the end of the day, this is the ramp up time, like you talked about. It's time to play the way that they played last week without the mistakes. I don't think that's going to happen quite yet. The mistakes are probably still going to be sprinkled in throughout the regular season, but I mean, we can always hope that one of these games that they click. And this game against the Raiders, specifically, what I want to see is the not the slow start that they've had. The slow start against the Raiders last time they played. The weak finishes against the Bills and against the Eagles. Play 4 quarters, y'all. 4 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Figure it out and find that magic that works for you, so you can start out fast, you can stay hot, and you can finish a football game.
Agreed. It's got to be starting to, whether it's fine-tuning some of the aspects of your positional group skills, or whether it's like you said, just having the intensity and the focus to put it all together. There's something can be taken from every one of these ball games, even though it's a backup quarterback, and yes, it's dominating the AFC West yet again. All that said, you can gain something from this no matter what position you're on this particular team. And, sometimes you just got to clear your head.
Sorry, I had a hair like flying around here. I'm trying to find it. So like I'm blowing at it. I turn off my mic for a second. So like I like try to get it out of the way. Attacked me.
Just clearing the cobwebs, like you got to do. I did want to show you guys, for those of you that are new to the channel, we appreciate you joining us and do want you to subscribe. When you look at the channel list, you can take a look at it and you'll see the green backgrounds, the field backgrounds for all the film rooms. There is a specific playlist for the film rooms where you can get them all. Even when I throw one in there, it happens from time to time still. It's a nice topic. So for those of you, you can just sub to the playlist if you like. It's all out there on RGR Football, and we appreciate you guys being here. If you want to support the channel, that's one way to do it. Just watch more videos. You can buy the gear that Dan's got on. I don't have mine with me today, but the RGR store has a ton of information in there, and I've got some cool things I'm going to put out after Christmas because I didn't think we were going to be able to get everybody taken care of before the holiday, so we're just going to do that after, and we'll get there. That said, supporting us also includes super chats. Go KC forever. We're going to get to you here coming up very shortly. So just bear with us a minute and we'll get to the questions. Because for me, it's after you take the whole focus issue, the whole get down to business and stay on target kind of business for the whole roster, then it becomes about the specific tasks. And Donovan Smith is not practicing today, didn't practice yesterday, not going to be available. I don't see any reason why a walkthrough tomorrow is going to change anything for that. So I feel pretty comfortable saying that Donovan's not going to be your left tackle tomorrow, and that's okay. Like you said, you've done the film. I've reviewed the games. A lot is coming at Wanya Morrison. I do think that that's going to help forge him for the future. So I'm actually happy to see him get another game, even if it is against Matt Crosby.
I don't think that this is going to be changing, personally. I think that Wanya Morris is your starting left tackle the rest of the season. You just let Donovan Smith get healthy, because the most important thing in the postseason is health and depth. Donovan Smith is a brilliant backup left tackle. Perfect position to be in as a backup left tackle. You have let your young player, I mean, by an happenstance, he had to go in and play at left tackle, and he's done well. I think he had some rough moments against the Patriots power, which, I mean, that's, again, he's still learning how to absorb and redistribute power. I think that bull rushes, and then he kind of panics himself a little bit in pass protection. He's trying to cover a lot. There's a lot coming at you with these pass rushers. It can really overwhelm and overload a system. He's trying to figure out his best way he can prevent guys. But one thing that's really helped is Joe Thuney is playing excellent all-pro level football kind of since the injury to Donovan Smith has happened. He's been the guy that we all expected to see, and he raised his game when he knew that there was a young player coming in and he was going to have to do a little bit more to help him. And that's been a big problem for Wanya, was in terms of letting guys into that B gap. Is he'll get a little bit wide, he'll get a little bit late, and he'll have to overset, and then he has to recover back to the inside. He can get there. He has the athletic tools to do it, but he's always a little bit behind in some of these. So He's getting more experience. You let Donovan Smith get healthy. And then when it comes to the postseason, you'll have a good offensive line situation, better than they've had in quite some time, with backup actually being someone you can come in and say, hey, we played most of the season with you at left tackle if we need be. So we're okay there.
I love that concept. And you're absolutely right about Joe Thuney. Like, when he knows that he has to pick it up because he doesn't have a guy next to him with as much experience, he's been able to do that. And having that last gear, especially for a guy of his age and his contract status, that's really great to see, because that means that they can continue to forge forward as they go through not just the regular season finales, but as they get into the first round or two of the playoffs. And I do expect multiple rounds of the playoffs. For those of you that are down on prognosticating for a Super Bowl and all that, I get that. You can have your worries, but a wild card loss I don't see from this team. I still don't. At this point, I think you look at the competition, particularly in the AFC, that I'm still really, really confident in everything that they're going to have to do, at least a round or two. Are you at that point?
Yeah, I mean, this is still the same blood in this organization that won a Super Bowl last year. Most of the people that were on that team are still in Kansas City. I know there are some changing parts and some younger players in the wide receiver room, but specifically, this defense has added Drew Tranquill and Charles Omenihu. I mean, Mike Edwards is having to play more because of Brian Cook, but we played in the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He won a Super Bowl. This is not a defense specifically that is going to be afraid by the moment. I think that they're going to raise their game even more in the postseason, because that's exactly what they did last year. They were still figuring things out. In the postseason, they really hunkered down and stepped their game up a bit. They're going to do it again in this postseason. And Patrick and most of the offensive line and Travis Kelce and even MBS and Justin Watson were all on that team last year. Noah Gray, I believe, is going to have more involvement. Like, this is a team that knows what it takes to win in the postseason. And at the end of the day, they're going to be playing teams that don't know what it takes to win in the postseason in the AFC, that don't have a clue what it really means to play as many games as the Chiefs have over the last 5 seasons. They've played the most games in the entire NFL over the last 5 seasons, and they know how to get the most out of their team in the postseason. So I know it's tough to watch every week, the mistakes and everything like that. And I don't believe that we're just going to see it go away. But I do think that what we're going to see is an understanding of how to play with them. They're going to have some mistakes, but you're going to have to, again, learn how to live with them at times. And I do think if you even go back to 2021, there was that first half against the Bengals where it was like, oh, they're about to blow them out of the water. But then the defense in the second half for the Bengals adjusted, and that's when we saw the little bit of some issues. That's not going to be the case anymore. It's different. Like, they played with those mistakes all the way through the regular season. They got to the postseason, and it was a defensive shift that kind of forced the mistakes. They've seen it all now. They've seen it all. Patrick has seen all of it. And last week against the Patriots, he might have played his best game this season. And that should scare a lot of people. 2 fluky interceptions. He should have, without the last drive accounted for, they should have put up 35 plus 30, maybe 40 points in this game. And Patrick threw for over 300 yards against the Patriots. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I think Patrick is getting his confidence back, and that's a scary thing for a postseason defense.
And to know that you've been through some trials already, it makes it that much more readily available to go back to that well, to be like, okay, we got to readjust again. We got to do X, Y, or Z. And hopefully it speeds up the adaptations. Like, so we're not waiting for halftime adjustments. We're not waiting for week-to-week adjustments. It starts by attacking the Raiders in the best and most powerful way that you can, because we have seen that against a bad defense, they're able to be explosive as well.
Yeah.
Raiders haven't shown that much, but Chiefs got to be on their top of their toes. So we're going to take a look at the matchups for you, particularly from the fantasy standpoint, as we're going to get with our friends over at Underdog, where you can get signed up right now with our code RGR at underdogfantasy.com and get in to pick them. If you're available, it's available across the country. Not every single state. Some states are not going to let you pick it. You can get into the draft, but we're going to pick them today because it's the fun. I think it's the most fun offering, to tell you the truth, and to get you into it. And if you want to try that, get over there to underdogfantasy.com and they'll give you $100 deposit match. So you put in $100, they're going to give you $100 on top of that over at Underdog Fantasy. And that brings us to where we are matchup wise. And if I get over here to the right screen, we're going to take a look because this is going to be, I think, a lot of fun in this particular matchup. Yes, you have to go at Devontae Adams. There's no way that he's not going to be the focus because he's the guy. But you have Jerry Sneed, you have Trent McDuffie on him. So the question becomes, unlike when I do this at home, where we just pick fantasy points, we're going to take a look at 65 receiving yards plus. I feel like despite being Sneed and McDuffie on him, that's probably something he's going to attain. Where do you stand on Adams?
It's going to be kind of how they play him because I think he beat this number in the first game, if I'm not mistaken, even with the Jerry Sneed on him. So that's going to be trying to figure out how they adjust to him. I'm still going to assume higher on that because, again, it's a funnel. This offense has to be a funnel. It has to be to Davante Adams. It has to be to Jacoby Myers. I think they're going to get Trey Tucker more involved because they desperately need team speed, and that's going to be something else too. But this Raiders offense is flying high right now. They have a lot of confidence after stomping the Los Angeles Chargers and having Brendan Staley fired after that game, putting a whooping on them. And they also have extra time. They're going to have some things drawn up for Davante Adams that you have to account for. So, yeah, I think higher on this makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So that brings me to my favorite guy that I thought they would use more last time, and they didn't. But I think this is the way that they have to choose to go at the Chiefs, and that's Hunter Renfrow. 17 yards, 17 and a half, sorry. I think that it's criminal that if he doesn't get there, but do you think he actually will?
I don't know how much he's going to play. Again, I think that Trey Tucker is going to be the guy that they get involved more. Renfro's been a guy that they used against the Chiefs pretty effectively. I think he got over this number last time too, or higher than this number last time. Maybe he had 1 or 2 targets. I can't remember specifically, to be honest with you.
I thought it was 3 for 22, but I'll look.
Maybe. But even then, like Renfrow, let me just pull up his stats on this season because, yeah, I'm telling you right now, he hasn't been used very much.
No, it's crazy.
It's like they don't want to use him because they've kind of moved on, I think. So he has beaten that number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times this season. Lately, though, he's been 42, 38 yards, 46 yards, 0 against the Chargers. 0. He had nothing, which I don't understand. Everyone got a piece of that pie.
Right?
So, I mean, I'm looking at this. Like, against the Chiefs, he had 4 receptions for 38 yards. That's something you should look at. So I mean, probably higher. They're gonna have to pull up. I think they're gonna be down in this game too. Like, let's be honest, they're gonna be down at this point.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to throw the ball a bit more. So yeah, I think so. I think he can beat that.
Okay. We'd be remiss if we didn't go over the quarterbacks. 212. This Chiefs defense is really on it, and I do feel confident that they're going to remain on it. But he has been passing for quite a bit, and I think they are going to give up a couple of chunk plays. I'm really tempted to take the lower on Aiden O'Connell going for 213 yards, but where are you at?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Let's just see what he's got here because I'm interested. I mean, he threw for 248 yards against the Chiefs last time. And again, we're talking about a team that's going to be in garbage time, in my opinion. I think we're going to be seeing them have to throw the ball. I don't know how Josh Jacobs is, if he's going to be available for this game. If he's not available for this game, oh yeah, you smash the higher on Aiden O'Connell because regardless of how many times that they score, that's irrelevant to me. He has been lower than that number. Let me just see. A couple times, actually, not surprisingly.
Right.
Enough. We've got.
And it comes back to Jacobs while you're looking at that. Jacobs was, I think he was a limited participant on Thursday. I did not see his designation so far today on Friday as we're live. So it is definitely iffy about whether he's going to be able to go. And I think that changes the whole dynamic of this ballgame, just his availability.
Yeah. So you've got 248 yards against the Chargers. That's what he had, and then 171 against. Yeah, like 171 against Minnesota, and again 248 yards against the Chiefs. Like that's, I think that we can reasonably assume a higher on Aiden O'Connell for this game, just for sake of they have to throw the ball.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, that brings us to obviously our guy Patrick Mahomes. Not really too concerned about 267 is the number here. I'm taking the higher on that all day long, and I think he's got a point to prove.
Absolutely. There's
Yeah,
like
you're
I said,
good.
nothing to talk about. It's just what it is.
Okay, cool. Well, that was easy. So that's where it starts to get interesting because Rasheed's line is 6.5 receptions. He's been running that 9-10 target area. He's been doing very well in terms of completion percentage. I think that's attainable. The 66 yards, I think, is going to be dependent on whether they choose to double him along with Travis Kelce. So I just want to start there because we'll look at Kelce as well. But
Yeah.
what's your gut for these numbers on Rashee Rice?
Yeah, I would go with the receptions, and I would say higher on the receptions because I think that they're going to do a lot of what they've done, get the ball to him quickly, let him get to work in space, and also I think we're going to see a little bit his role expand a little bit. Like he's going to get some shots deeper down the field, but at the end of the day, the offense flows through Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce. That's what it is.
It's a plus. I will take it. So that comes to Kelce. And we know that teams are going to try to take him away. They're going to try to do it too. He's almost identical to Rashee Rice in that the line's at 6 receptions and 66.5 yards. I got to take the over on yards probably, but I'm wondering if the receptions is a lower.
Yeah, I do think you're onto something there. I think his yards, I think we can see in the 80s this week.
Mm-hmm.
It might come at 6 receptions though. Like it might absolutely just be 6 because that's kind of what Travis does right now. Teams are taking him away. So yeah, I understand that thought process for sure. I think it would be safe and just hit the yards if I was taking a pick him here and go higher on the yards for Travis and not worry about the receptions.
I like it. Okay. So that's a match. If we're going to just go with our normal 50, we can get up to a $600 payout. So that's at underdogfantasy.com. Use our code RGR to get yourself in the action. That's how we do it. And it's a lot of fun. If it's available, you give it a shot. I think you guys will dig it. Now, who does what, when, and where? Pops is the biggest question. And I actually avoided him on the underdog because I just don't have a feel yet. Clyde's been running well. Clyde was out of practice today, excused. Hopefully that's not more illness running around the building because the linebackers missed yesterday in both Bolton and Jones. So let's hope that the disease factory that happens this time of year is not affecting Arrowhead Drive. But without Clyde, Randy did kind of hint that the load's going to be closer to a full load for Pacheco, that he's fully back. Clyde will be the 2. The question is, do they limit McKinnon now and give him a rest? He's been very, very effective. He's been very explosive, doing a lot of things. I still want to know the story of why that handoff turned into a pop pass there, Nick, but we'll talk sometime. I feel like it's probably a good thing for them to just let him rest and run Clyde as the 2, let Pacheco take the bulk of the load. I don't know if he gets to that 15 carry mark. I probably doubt it. But total, I would still like to see 22, 24 carries for the backs as a group.
Yeah, I think he's actually going to get that number. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
I think that they were like, we understand where we're at right now. And I think that he just didn't play against the Patriots because they weren't going to be able to run the ball anyway. I think this was we're going to let you get healthy. And when Andy Reid, I know that he likes to talk just kind of out the side of his mouth sometimes. I do believe that he believes that Pacheco is good to go. But now you have a situation with Jerick McKinnon, who has not practiced for the second straight day. That's the issue here. So think back to last year when Clyde got hurt and he was out. Clyde got hurt. You have Jerick McKinnon steps in. I think you might see Clyde in that type of similar role with Isaiah Pacheco. He has proved to be the pass catching back that we all expected him to be. Shocker. It's just amazing what happened. He's a pass catching complement to Isaiah Pacheco. And he's running harder now than he has in a few years because he's fully healthy. He's ready to go. Clyde is good to go. He's healthy. He looks more explosive. His footwork is good. Like he looks to be close to what we saw his rookie season. So I think we're going to see Isaiah Pacheco handle his normal workload, but they're going to sprinkle Clyde in more in the passing situations and passing downs than let Isaiah stay out there for those because he's still not a very good pass protector. And at the end of the day, Clyde's not either, but they're just going to chip him out and run. They can run him on routes. Isaiah Pacheco does flat routes. He's a flat. You're to the flat, to the flat, to the flat. Clyde, they can do a little bit more with, obviously, with him catching that touchdown pass last week against the Patriots.
Good Lord.
He proved, hey, I can catch football and you don't have to have me running just flat routes. And that's things that he can do too. So I'm excited to see what they do with them because as a 1-2 punch, they really can be effective. And their run game, honestly, is back. It's back. So you can do a lot of different things off of that with play action, the power run game with Pacheco. And honestly, you can use Clyde as a receiver. Have him motion out wide, get him in the slot a couple times. We've seen him do some choice routes against Derwin James and get open. So I'm excited. Like I'm giddy talking about the Chiefs running backs, which is not something I'm usually doing at this point in the season.
No, and if anyone is, it's usually my gig. So welcome
Right?
to the running back fever. I'm pretty excited about it as well, and I love if you can learn to win ugly, especially with a young roster like this, it'll help you down the road, not just this season, but in seasons to come. So I like that concept as well. The running game fosters that in maintaining the clock and keeping things a little bit closer. That's okay. If you can learn to ride that arc, you're going to be in good shape. Let's get to some of our questions here, folks. It is a Friday. If you're new, just getting in here, we went a little bit early, so make sure you like, sub, hit the bell, check out the RGR store for any last minute presents. You'll get them post Christmas, but hey, if you want to get them, you can get them in there. We'll have some new stuff for you coming in the first of the year as well. Well, maybe not first of the year, new year. Let's put it that way. Terry, been getting a lot of questions about this on social as well, and so we'll address your question off the top. What do you think about Anthony Miller signing, and do you think the injury Tony is actually sitting him out again? Off the top, Anthony Miller, I called him a journeyman on Locked On Chiefs yesterday, and I think that's still my favorite way to put it. Like, he has some potential, yes, but he's not a guy that's walking in the door and taking snaps away from anybody else they've been trying to feed at this point, in my opinion. Could he maybe do something in the postseason? Possibly. If there's an injury and he's worked into the offense, possibly. But I don't see an impact right here from the get-go. Am I missing something, Dan?
No, the guy that they have that's going to be impactful, that's kind of the same type of player as Richard James. Like they're not that far apart in terms of what they bring stylistically and being a slot receiver. I know Anthony Miller is a bit bigger from memory. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think that at the end of the day, this is just a depth signing. Just you got a couple injuries at wide receiver. You know, McColl could get hurt again. This is not the first time he's been hurt, not even this season. So you need a little bit of insurance, and I understand just having bodies at the wide receiver position because they kind of need it.
Yeah, they're going down like flies. And that is a good segue too, that McColl is back at practice. His 21-day window has opened. They do have the option. It feels like Andy's not making much out of it, so I wonder if he gets another week off, but McColl's actually performed pretty well against the Raiders. Two of his biggest plays ever have been against the Raiders. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Sunday call-up for him the day that they have to designate his return. We'll find out. In terms, Terry, of your question about Tony actually being sat a game, I don't know. It feels like if they were trying to send a message, they probably just send the whole message rather than hide it, obfuscate it for the public, and keep it in-house. I don't know.
I don't know about you. That feels exactly what Andy Reid would do. That feels like exactly what Andy Reid would do, because at the end of the day, when he's not the kind of guy that punishes people in public. Like he didn't throw Connor Embry under the bus yesterday when we've seen factual evidence that the wide receivers outside of Rashee Rice have gone the opposite direction from last season. They just have. And yes, you're learning a new style from a new wide receiver coach who's never done it before at the NFL level, but it's now week 16 and we're not seeing consistent results out of anybody except for Rashee Rice. So Andy Reid does feel like he's trying to address some things behind closed doors in different ways. Now, today, Connor Embry talked specifically about how Tony doesn't get himself down, that he does all the same stuff every week. He doesn't let the noise bother him, which I tend to disagree with based on his past social media encounters. So there's something going on, in my personal opinion. The fact that there was no mention of Kadarius Toney injured after the game, and all of a sudden we have an injury now, certainly suggests a little bit more going on than I believe to be the public perception. That's all I know. I don't know anything definitively. That's all I can say.
I'm with you there. I do think something else is going on, but it feels like if this were a punishment or a sit down for performance, he's done that all season, where he's kind of kept him under wraps and protect him. At some point, you got to put it out there and put some pressure on the guy by letting it out. That's where it feels like it should be to me, but that's just the way that I would go about it. You're right. Something's going on, and I don't think we're going to know for quite a bit. Thanks, Terry. Appreciate you. Grant, do you expect a big part from Ross coming back for more like 5 or 6 snaps? Not really. I do expect that's probably what we're looking at is more of the same from him.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They keep trotting out MVS out there. So yeah, I don't expect much more from Justin Ross, who hasn't played football in 2 months.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Casey, appreciate you. Go Casey forever, or go for Casey forever. Appreciate the super chat and the support. We appreciate you. We are going to have to start fast on defense and offense. Win the coin toss and no more turnovers. Get the turnovers on defense and get to Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. And I do think the turnovers are the key part of that for the very most part. I think they probably have a little bit more room to like run their first 15 and not be too much under pressure. But I do think it's going to be about making sure that you keep the ball safe and keep it in your possession. That's one of the number one goals for me.
Yeah, you got to be able to, like I said, this is for me having a clean game of football. Come in, get off on the right foot, finish on the other foot, and make it a complete roundabout performance. You can't have what has been continuing to happen most of the season, coming out slow or finishing slow. Put it together, get it right, find a way to just breathe easy. Otherwise, the Raiders are going to do what they did to the Chargers and come out and do more than you expect them to do. I'm not saying they're going to put up 60 on the Chiefs. That's not going to happen. But it's them outperforming the other team's expectations. Chargers gave up on the field. They were done.
Yeah.
They said, no, we're done. We're not playing for this coach anymore. And that's what got him fired. It wasn't the points. It was the fact that team quit. And they said, we don't want to play for this guy anymore. The one difference you're going to have here is that Chiefs ain't quitting this game. The defense is not going to just say, we're done. No, they're going to come out. They're going to play high-level football, and they're going to get the football back to Patrick Mahomes 1 or 2 times in this football game, whether it's through fumbles, interceptions, regardless. It doesn't matter. They're going to play high-level football. The offense has to play high-level football. This is back to basics, guys. This week is this, honestly, this last 3-game stretch has to be about hammering home the basics. Get back to it mentally. Get everything a little simpler and stop thinking too much about everything else going on. Catch football, secure football, run. That's it. That's it. That's all this comes down to. Catch the football, like back to the basics. Hopefully we see that be a theme this week. And you'll have a trick play or two. It's Christmas. He wants to get people excited. So I expect to see something like that.
That is a very fair point. Thank you forever. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it,
Doctor's in. Nice to see you, pal. One of our members, if you guys want to join the memberships, you get all the extras. You get all the rants. You get all the things that are not fit for public consumption, at least in my opinion. You get my notes. You get a bunch of stuff. So click that join button down below. You get access to our Discord environment, which is Rogue Nation, a great environment. FLDB's running it. Frankie does a great job. Stevie's over there. You'll see Gooch from time to time. It's a great community of our folks. So check it out if you're into that. Are you okay with the trenches now? Can we please go after wide receiver in the first? Doctor, I cannot say that I'm okay with the left tackle yet. I gotta see what Morris does with it. It's positive overall, in my opinion, so far, but I can't say that I'm signed off that he should be the starter next season, no matter what. Especially if you have, one of the BYU kids who are both very efficient blockers. Is it Fulitano? No, that's the kid from Washington. One in particular is going to go in the area that Chiefs could use their first draft pick on him. They'd have to move up for Alter or Olu or any of the big nnames. But until I can say that one is outplaying what I can expect from a top 32 pick next season at the position, till I can say that, I can't write off the possibility. Are you farther down the road than me?
No, I think that at the end of the day, we're talking about a tackle on day 1 or day 2. It's going to depend on the runs that happen, but I still expect a wide receiver on day 1. Like, I still expect that to be the case. The problem is that I'm going to say this. Andy Reid drafts wide receivers that he can scheme open. That's been a very consistent thing. He does not draft based on wide receivers that can just win. That's, again, Rashee Rice, a little bit different what we're seeing because they're scheming him open right now, but he can win on his own. That was established in college that he can win the football. but they typically draft guys that they can scheme open and that they're teaching to do that. I think that is doing the whole offense a disservice. Juju Smith-Schuster could just win in this offense, whether it was back shoulder throws or finding the zone spots. He could just win. Tyreek Hill, one of the best athletes to ever play football, could just win. You can't teach that stuff. Right now, they're devoid of letting a player just win or having someone that can just win. It's Travis Kelce, and then they scheme everybody else open. So I still believe that the wide receiver position, you have to find someone that can just win. That whether it's against a man or zone, you got to find somebody with that high-level brain processing and defensive coverage aspect. So for me, I still think wide receiver is the place that they go in the first round.
And it makes sense because I do feel, and I've said this before, but I do feel like there are number 2 receivers on a number of college teams that would be top 15 picks possibly in any other draft, but you're playing behind Marvin Harrison and you're playing behind Rome Odunze, right? Like, so the number 2s on those rosters are quality picks that can make differences. I've talked about Polk. He can fit in this offense in a heartbeat. Ibuka can fit into this offense in a heartbeat. The question is, are they enough to warrant that 31st, 32nd pick that I'm still feeling is where the Chiefs' future is? That's what's going to come down to. The evaluation will shed all the light on there. But thank you for everyone here, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone here. Doug in particular said, hit that like for the holidays. Appreciate that. And it's nice to see everybody back for a bit. We're going to get to this super chat, and obviously from Chris, very much appreciated, and Merry Christmas to everyone out there. But so it's just not a set deal for me yet. It's going to depend on where everything falls still, I believe, as we go forward. TG, trade Jones and a second for Garrett Wilson since he is unhappy with the organization. I like where your head's at. But no one in New York cares if Garrett Wilson is unhappy with the organization. They are not going to trade him away for anything. They have to have, as I understand it, Dan, you tell me if you interpreted this differently, with Aaron saying, hey, I'm back healthy. I did a good job, but I'm not going to push it for now. He's laying the groundwork to be here, not just next season, but possibly one beyond that as well. And he has to have Garrett Wilson. In order for Aaron Rodgers to be successful, he has to have talent at the position, just like Patrick does. So I can't see them going away from Garrett Wilson in any way, shape, or form. Do you?
No, I don't believe that he's going anywhere, but I'm a little more hesitant on Aaron Rodgers' future.
Okay.
One, the Jets need a lot of work on the offensive line. A lot of work. The fact that they came into this season knowing that their offensive line was pretty much garbage anyway. I mean, you have some good pieces. They got, they drafted Tittman. They have AVT, Elijah Vera Tucker, Mekhi Becton, who's been injured his entire career to this point. I think he got hurt again this year, if I'm not mistaken, and a lot of stopgap players elsewhere. They have some talent, but some injured. All of them except Tittman got hurt. This is not something that you just, Aaron Rodgers, go back out there. Like, the fact that he was like, I'm going to come back and play this season, I was like, no, you're not. Never once did I believe you were going to take a snap behind that offensive line, regardless of playoff positioning or not. Because
he is crazy.
Yes, and then he would have destroyed his Achilles. Destroyed it. He wouldn't play ever again if he would have came out again this season behind that offensive line. Disagree completely with it. But we have to remember, they also have, Quincy Williams. Like, they're not going to trade for Chris Jones when they have one of the best defensive tackles in football that plays the same position. They're just not going to do that. So I love the enthusiasm to try to go get one of the best young athletic wide receivers in football. But we gotta understand the situation a little bit more. It's not going to happen. Aaron Rodgers is like, that guy's not going anywhere.
Yeah, right. He goes, I go. I always bet is how I would throw it down there. But I like that you're looking around, TG. I and appreciate it. Question and everything else that we see from you in here. Appreciate it. Austin, what do you think about the Raiders? Jack Jones saying stop the magician and the act is over. Raiders love the talk. I mean, yeah, there's a grain of truth in it. Every boast comes from something, or else you wouldn't be able to pick at somebody about it, right? Because if you could stop Patrick, if you literally could prevent him from making plays, yeah, then Chiefs had no chance because they can't just run the ball, right? No one's ever stopped Patrick, ever. And that cannot be done, in my opinion, modern defense or not. You cannot stop him. Can you slow him down? You can force him into a mistake? Yeah, sure. But you ain't going to stop him no matter what. And certainly if you live in Las Vegas and play for that organization, you ain't doing jack. So good for him for talking the talk and having some pride, but nah, he's crazy.
It's ridiculous, man. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. And specifically from a team whose defense is terrible and got walked all over for 3 quarters against Patrick Mahomes. Last time he did it again. I want so badly to happen what happened last year with Mahomes and Crosby getting into a little bit. That's the Patrick Mahomes that you can't beat, that you can't stop. When he's like, I'm here, like you picked the wrong guy. Oh man, it is over. It's over for any defense, because that's when Patrick's like, yeah, it's you can't do anything. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna find a way to beat you. So I love the talk. I know they've got their own little folder for all the stuff that people have said this season, specifically lately. There's a lot of stuff to put in there, but just keep the file open. Just keep throwing stuff in there. We got lots of time here, guys. The Chiefs do this. That they know how to get themselves in that position, and right now they are the underdogs. That's a position that I love for them to be in personally.
Yeah, it's free fuel. It's like going to Quick Trip and somebody else paying for your tank. It's that free. Use it. Adam, don't you wish that they had Amir Smith-Marset? I mean, we liked him when he was here. He just didn't seem to quite grab onto the offense. That could probably be said for some of the guys that did make it. So I don't know. I would be open to it, but I can't say that I'm like, writing him letters that I wish he was here.
I mean, I always wish he was here. I think, again, I would liked what I saw from him this preseason, what he was able to do. But at the end of the day, is he doing that against the best competition right now? Like, is he outplaying these guys? I don't know, because he's not getting snaps in Carolina, and they have one of the worst receiving cores in football, and he's not playing.
Anybody with a heartbeat, they're letting help Bryce Young.
And it ain't happening. It's tough.
I don't know.
I wish he was here too, because I like to see him a little bit. But at the end of the day, are we sure he'd be doing anything? No.
Nice to see you, though, Adam. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well, bud. Jamie, thank you. Another member question. Just got in. Do you guys think that Rice will have another big game? I think we took him on the over at 66.5 yards. That's for sure. 6.5 receptions. Yes. I'd like to see him hit the century mark. I'm not sure it's there, but I think it's a possibility. I would call that a big game. Would you?
Yeah. So he's actually he's closer to his 1,000 yard season than we thought. They hadn't updated his yards, so he's closer than we thought he was going to be. So that's within reach for him. I do think he can have a 100-yard game against the Raiders, because, again, I think he's going to be targeted. I think they're going to get him the ball, and they're going to let him do his thing, because the secondary is not good. They can attack it. Rashee Rice can attack it with his yards after the catch. And honestly, downfield, let him line up on the outside. Get that matchup with Amik Robertson again, and just throw it to him downfield. I want to see this. I want to see it. Get him, MVS, line up on the same side. MVS, go take that safety away. We're going to throw it down the left-hand sideline to Rashee Rice against Amik Robertson. We're going to attack it. We're going to attack it. We're going to attack it. That's the killer instinct I want to see from this game, personally.
Yeah. And it's a great matchup. I like Meek. He's how I found L'Jarius Sneed. I'm very happy with both of them. I think Meek's played well in this league, better than most thought he would, but he's also a chance taker. And when he feels like his back's against the wall and he's physically outmatched, he will take chances and try to jump routes. And that can get you paid really, really nicely, no matter what you're putting on the line for Rashee Rice. So, okay, that said, Ben Davidson, thank you, buddy. Appreciate the support.
Thank you.
Saw reports that Mahomes has over 4,000 yards and leads all QBs. Saw that others still say that he's at 3,700. Which is it? Thanks so much and happy holidays. I'll have to double check. I haven't looked at Mahomes stats lately. Let me pull that up.
I mean,
unless you know it off the top of your head.
4,000. I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah, I thought so too, but hey, I've said dumber things and been wrong. So, it happens sometimes. Let me
Doesn't
just
though.
go look, and I will share. Put the
No,
screen up
right
here
here. He
for
says
everybody.
right here on where is it? Pro Football Reference that he's at 3703.
Yeah, PFF has it at 3702. So
Interesting.
that's
I
about
wonder
where
where the
he's at.
report was about him saying 4,000.
Yeah, I'll check NFL official stats too,
Yeah, no, that's
just to
interesting.
be sure. You never know. But Ben, thanks for the question. We'll definitely check you there because they have him at, where is it? Oh, see,
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. It's all yards accounted for. That's what the stat was. So his rushing total combined with his passing yards is just over 4,000, which is total
makes
yards, I
sense.
think. I'm seeing that in there. People are just now throwing it up there too. So yeah, that's what that was.
And they have to do that in order to compensate for the comparison for Lamar playing well this season. So seasons you don't have Lamar, you don't look at total yards from the quarterback, you look at passing yards. But when Lamar's in the mix, you got to account for it. So thanks, Ben. Ozzy McKinnon told James Pollard that he knew Rice needed one for the TD record, so he popped it. Oh, rock on. That's cool. I had not heard that. So
That's so cool.
good for him. Jerick's a pretty aware dude, so that makes a lot of sense. Your honest opinion on the O-line this season. Thoughts. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate you, and for always being here, one of our longtime members. Have they maybe underperformed? Yeah, I can see that. Certainly at the tackles. Maybe even a little bit inside in terms of like penalties in that, but
Yeah.
they've been able to grind out more yardage and short yardage in the run game and the run game in general. And I feel like they're may have hit a gully, but they're on the way back up as a unit. Where do you see them?
So I think as a total, they've underperformed as compared to last year, but they're not getting as pressured as quickly as they were last year with Orlando Brown at left tackle. This is a fact. Patrick Mahomes is holding onto the football longer than he ever has for good reason because they're still doing a pretty good job in holding up pass protection. It's just we've seen pressures leak a little bit, right? When guys aren't getting open in the wide receiver position and they're doubling Travis Kelce, that makes Patrick hold on to the football a little bit more, and it has to have the protection hold up a little bit longer. So they've been up to the task. Like if this was last year and Patrick was getting the ball out a little bit faster, we wouldn't be talking about it as much in the pass protection sense as we are. But he's had to hold on to the football more this year than he ever has. So it's been a little different. I think pass protection, they're still good. And right now they're finding their run game. So they're getting at it. Wanya Morris has elevated their entire run offense, in my opinion, as a run blocking. He might be the best. He's definitely the best run blocking tackle they have, like, period. Not even close. Juwan is not a good run blocker, and Donovan Smith has been bad as well. Joe Tooney and Creed Humphrey with Trey Smith are a fantastic right to left, like, run blocking unit. So I'm pretty happy with that, what we've seen lately.
As Forrest Gump said, run game. I didn't know I was supposed to be looking for it. Well, they found it. So I'm ready. In the offseason, could we make a trade for one of DK Metcalf, Mike Evans, Chris Olave for a second, fourth, and Sky Moore? Franklin, I like the creativity. Mike Evans, you're not going to have to trade for. He's going to be a free agent. He's also going to be 33 years old, I want to say. 32 years old, something like that. DK Metcalf, Chris Olave isn't going to go anywhere. He's a cornerstone for that organization. They have to go find a quarterback solution. They have to keep Olave to help that along, in my opinion. Metcalf, obviously, Jackson Smith had a great catch the other day. JSN finally rounding into what we thought he might be. At least looks like it on film to me. I still don't think that they're ready to depart from DK. He's not up for a contract yet, is he, Dan?
No, I think he's actually about to be. This is his
he?
what? No, he got extended. He had to have gotten extended. He's been playing since 2019, so he was not a first round pick. So yes, he's already been extended. The DK stuff, Tyler Lockett's going to be gone next year, in my opinion. Like, he's pretty much toast. He fell off a good amount this past season, and DK's younger, and now he's faster, he's bigger, and he's extended. And Tyler Lockett's expensive. They're going to be able to save money when they cut him, most likely. So, the only realistic one out of these is signing Mike Evans in the offseason, which I'm very intrigued by. I don't care how old Mike Evans is. I'm watching Mike Evans and I'm like, yo, Bring this guy to
He's
Kansas
still running
City.
away from dudes. He's
Not
still
even
running
just that,
away from coverage.
He's still getting open. He's creating separation at his size and his age. I'm like, bring that to Kansas City, buddy. Why don't you go play with Patrick Mahomes? Like I'm loving that idea.
And I hope teams bend over backwards to fight each other off for T. Higgins and ignore Mike completely. And they're like, hey,
please
come win another championship, Mike. Welcome. I'll bet you he'll go for it. Anthony, do you have an offensive coordinator problem or a coaching problem with no killer instincts? And do you think the Chiefs are beating themselves? I absolutely think the Chiefs are beating themselves. I think 80% of it is on the field, not in the coaching room. And I don't think it's an offensive coordinator problem. If you want to have the conversation, a lot of folks coming down on Connor Embry lately, and that's okay. He's inexperienced. I totally get that. I still feel like execution is on the players, and I can't think that between all the other coaches there that are more experienced, including Jay, obviously Nagy and Reed, like I don't think that they're just going to let things fly like he's coaching badly or not coaching the things that they need to know. So I still feel most of it is execution, but I could see making a change at the wide receiver coach position in the offseason.
We'll find out about what Andy Reid actually feels in the offseason. That's all we got right now. Like even about their offensive coordinator position, like we're going to find out a little bit more about their feelings of the coaching room when the postseason is over, when the free agency starts, when all that stuff is. And right now, as much as everyone wants to say that they know exactly what's going on behind closed doors or the coaching situation's the reason, or because they're missing Eric Bieniemy, at the end of the day, the only people that know are in that locker room, are in that coaching room, and have had conversations with those players. We can have opinions. That's fine. You guys think the Chiefs miss EB? That's awesome. I love DB. I love what he brought. Fantastic dude, coach, and I can't wait to see what he does next. At the end of the day, I got no clue. What I do know is players are dropping passes. Players are running into coverage when they're supposed to be running away from it. And a lot of this is put on young players to have to get better. Like I should have not expected MVS to do much this year. Shouldn't have done it. That's on me. Young players typically improve. This year we've seen a lot of them go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
We have eyes that say that they're just not getting it done on the field, but they're also not necessarily always being given the opportunity to prove that. Targets are largely earned. Okay. If someone's not getting the football, that's because they're not doing very well in practice.
There's a reason.
A quarterback can say everything he wants to. I love Patrick Mahomes so much. You guys don't even know. He does not trust most of those players, no matter what he says in a press conference. I'm sorry. If a person's not getting targeted, that quarterback doesn't trust him. Just doesn't do it. Thank you for your super chat, Summit. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it very much. Sorry, there's children around. You want to come be on camera? Come on. She wants to be famous. She can do that. I don't know that I have them. Everyone say hi. Get in the frame. There you go. Oh, you're just going to show your hand? All right, cool.
Just wants the keys.
Family show, folks.
Right? Yeah.
Teenagers, what are you going to do? That's always fun. It is a family show, folks. So cheers. Christian, thanks for the support. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for all the insight. Really enjoy your work. Thoughts on Javon Foster from Missouri, rated as one of the better LTs in the SEC. I have seen him in the rankings. I have not watched him specifically. I caught, I think, 2 Mizzou games live early in the season, but like the whole second half of the season, I didn't get to see any of it yet. So I'll have to take a look at him on all 22, especially against some of those better SEC teams. But he is on my list to be, I think I had him slated as a day 3 guy, and I have to find where to stack him. If something stands out, I'll definitely let you guys know if he deserves more than that. I don't know if you've had a look at him yet.
No, unfortunately, guys, I'm kind of keying my watching on the wide receivers right now. Shocking, I know. That's one.
No, that's perfect.
It's the position that I'll tell you right now, I think I do it better than almost anybody in the business. I feel like I scout wide receivers better than almost anybody. So that's what I do first. And I get to that first. And we go, we get down the film that way. We'll do tackles. I got a little bit of JC Latham. I've seen some of the top tackles, things like that. But I'm pretty locked in at wide receiver right now.
Rock and roll, yeah. And you guys know I'll do quarterbacks, left tackles, edges, Everything else from there, we kind of overlap and cross-check each other. So I'll probably have the first pass at the tackles at all of them before Dan gets to it, because he's focusing on the skill positions. And so then we cross over. We'll definitely both have opinions for you later in the process.
Absolutely.
But, it's pretty early for us right now. But welcome to the memberships, KC Forever. Nice to see you. Make sure there are levels to the memberships. And I do have to answer, I think, Tracy's question as well. Live stream day of, emojicons, that kind of thing. That's the base level, the draft pick. You jump up to rookie, you get all the extra content, and that's our rants, the notes, member live streams. For the playoff run in next year, we're going to do some streams that are going to be members only. It'll be at the rookie level and above. It's generally the member only live streams are generally just for the starters and above, but I think we're going to drop it down just to try to get everybody involved and try to have more fun with it. So I don't know what level you came in yet, Casey, but I will check you. And so if you do all that, anybody at rookie and above gets into the Discord environment for all of our other serious members, so you can jump in there as well. Thank you. It's nice to add you, and I hope you have fun. Thundarius, hope you're feeling well, buddy. You're ready for the monsoon game. I retweeted you out there, but because it looks good in all that ring gear. You made signs too, but I may not end up using them. Well, hey, you never know. If you get a little break, we'll see. It's a little gloomy out there today, but I will hope so. And I'll look for the post there, Thundarius. Nice to see you. Casey Forever did have a question. Does draft pick make me a member? You are a member at the lowest level live stream interactions. So when you go up to rookie, that's when you get all the behind the scenes and all that. So just click little upgrade, not a big deal. It should be super simple. Just a couple of clicks if everything's going well. Alex, nice to see you. Thanks for the support, pal. I'd still like to utilize Ross more in the red zone. I think that Richie James could be more consistent, bring more consistency in being in the right place. That's legitimate on both counts in my book.
Yeah, I appreciate the super chat, Alex. Always love you guys coming in here and supporting the channel. I don't disagree with that at all. I think that there's a level of comfort that Richie James brings to the offense right now, myself. The problem with putting Ross out there more is you don't know what to expect. The team, the last 2 months, has, regardless of the mistakes, have gotten comfortable with each other. They're learning out there in the process. They're feeling out the issues and trying to fix that on field. You putting somebody else out there who has not been a part of the team for the last 2 months can throw off some of that chemistry. And I understand, yeah, he's tall, he's got ball skills, and using him in the red zone might be an effective way. Using him like pseudo 13 personnel. Come out there, do that a little bit maybe. Don't force him into your game plan. Special packages, okay. But we still have to be careful about how much you use him, because the mental thought process for wide receivers is so stark and important for wide receivers in Reed's system. He's not going to be there yet. So I wouldn't expect much from him this season. Maybe next year when the Chiefs have even more young receivers, he'll have an opportunity to showcase it.
Yeah, and hopefully more room to grow as well.
For sure.
Jerome, hope you're doing well. Good to see you too, buddy. I hope you have an awesome holiday season. Will the Chiefs coast at the end of the game? I hope you have an awesome holiday season as well, Jerome. And yes, as long as Andy Reid is breathing, they're going to coast unless they're behind. That's just the way that he does it. I have no faith that the pedal will stay down.
Nah, not even a little bit, guys. As much as I'd love it, like just not going to happen.
Nunya, y'all watch Rice's interview about Tony's drops? No, I didn't. Did you, Dan?
I didn't know there was an interview specifically about Tony's drops. Like that's, no. You know, Nunya, if you're in here, can you drop the link or send it to any of us if you're on the old Twitter there? I'd love to see that myself.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be supportive, but now I'm very, very intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
Thanks, Nunya. Callie, hope you're doing good, buddy. Random. Which Alex Smith team do you think Patrick could have won a Super Bowl with? The last one, the one where Alex was so fired up after that first win, you know, with the gladiator pose in the end zone. Patrick was a rookie. I think he could have done it if Alex had gotten hurt that year.
2013, or
was that Alex too? Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2013 when they lost to Andrew Luck in the postseason. They win the Super Bowl that year. It was the best turnover defense that they had under Andy Reid until now. Like that was the pinnacle. Any of the years they made the postseason, any of the years, Patrick could have probably won. And I am not trying to talk bad about Alex Smith. I love Alex Smith. He's not just a fantastic football player, human being. He's a wonderful person. But we all know, as soon as Patrick was selected, Alex was like, yo, I am on borrowed time.
I got to go.
He balled out his last season because he was like, look, I know I'm not going to be here anymore. I need to get somewhere where they could use me. So love Alex Smith, but Patrick Mahomes could have won the Super Bowl with any of the teams that they made the postseason in. Any of them.
I like it. I like it a lot. Thanks, Callie. Hope you're doing good, bud. Nunya said you can have talent, but you need to have work ethic. And hey, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There's no free ride. Even Tyreek Hill had to work at it. Tyreek Hill didn't know how to run routes right when he came to this league. He had all the talent that he has right now, if not more. He had to learn parts of the game as well. You're absolutely right. You have to be able to work and produce the talent. No way around it. Tracy, I was gifted a membership. Awesome. That's great. But it doesn't include rants. What does the membership I was gifted include? All the interaction and the emoticons and all the things that are related to the live stream experience. That's where the draft level is. You should be able to bump them up though. And whoever is gifting gets to choose what level they're giving out, and everyone can upgrade from there. So let me know if you have any trouble with it, Tracy. I'll be looking here around the holiday a little bit. I won't be necessarily on as much as I usually am. So let me know if you have any trouble. Daniel, Ryan, I also think that the Chiefs land Higgins in free agency and trade for Kyle Pitts is a nice compliment to Kelce. I mean, hell, that's a replacement at that point because Kyle Pitts might as well still be a rookie because they've scratched zero of his potential off of the surface, in my opinion.
He's hurt too. He's playing.
Oh, is he? I didn't see that.
He's been playing. He has not been fully healthy, and he got hurt again. Like I just don't think he's been healthy out there this season. He doesn't look the same.
That sucks.
Granted, he could have gotten beaten down by Arthur Smith. Just that hammer, that beaten down.
It's certainly possible. But I mean, in terms of what you're talking about, yeah, it'd be nice to see them in Kansas City. I would not say no to either. Mr.
An
Brandt
expensive offseason there you got.
Yeah. It's all up to Mr. Brandt. So I'm with him. Randy, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate your support. And we got a couple of more new members. Mark Hanners, awesome, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Hope you're enjoying it. And Christian as well. Christian Mayberry. Nice to see you guys as well. I'm going to do a last roundup for questions. Anything else, Dan, that we didn't cover you want to make sure we get?
I don't think so. I think we're about ready to hit the predictions here and then get everyone out for their Christmas weekend. We're here. We've been here an hour now. So yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Terry, have a good time against the Bengals. Awesome. We will get to that as soon as this one's over. So Dan, you want me to go first? Yeah, I usually wrap up, but maybe you should have the last word this time.
No, yeah, go ahead. You take the wheel here. We'll let you go first.
Okay. I just don't. This is a very groovy like an edibles night on the holiday for me. Like I just ain't too worried about nothing. I usually don't get to that point because I want it clean and crisp and I want to hammer all the nails, but they don't have to against this team. I think this is a unique situation playing on Christmas Day. Patrick talked about it a little bit about how, he still gets to go home and spend, the evening Christmas Day dinner and all that with the family and stuff. But make no bones about it. This is a game that they're the better team. They are better prepared. As long as they are focused enough to execute, they should walk through this game without much problem. I just want no one to get hurt. It's the only concern that I have overall. I think the Chiefs win this comfortably at probably 31-24.
You think they let up 24 points to the Raiders? Okay.
I think so. I think something might be in the making.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit different on this one for their score specifically, but not that far off. Like we're not that far off. This is a test of the Chiefs' ability to stay locked in. You can't take the Raiders lightly because they've got an entire new vigor since they have a new coach. They've played much tougher. They've played harder for Antonio Pierce, who I love. I loved watching him as a part of those New York Giants teams. Like that was a hard-nosed dude that played for Tom Coughlin and Steve Spagnuolo. Like they did that. I think he's got the same type of feel, and he's going to want to bring that same kind of energy. So, yeah, for me, this game comes down to Would you guys know it? Execution and fundamentals. Just got to keep engaged. Like if the Chiefs stay engaged, this shouldn't be a game. They should come out, put a number up on them early. Don't let the Raiders go down and score on your first possession again. This kind of game, you need to come out and set the tone that you are the AFC West champions that you expect to be. This can't be a, oh, well, we're just going to dogleg it through and just kind of see what happens. No. This is Christmas Day. You guys are at home. The Raiders are coming into your house, and apparently teams don't think that this is a tough place to play anymore. That's got to change. And this game right now, regardless of it being the Raiders, Aiden O'Connell, and a bad defense, come to play. Start out strong. Get Rashee Rice. I think Noah Gray a little more involved too. And then just take Isaiah Pacheco and run it down their throat. Physicality. Establish not the run. No. The physicality that you want to have for a postseason run, offensively and defensively. You come out, you hit people, you establish that this is how this game is going to go, and this is how this team is going to be the rest of the season. And that's how you can change your own mentality from a finesse team to a little bit more of a physically dominant team. I think the Chiefs win 34-17, and it's never really close.
I hope so. I like yours better than mine. I got to tell you. Let's go with that. we got one more super chat and one more question. Let's just hit those real quick, and then we'll let you guys have your Friday. We appreciate you being with us a little bit early. Like, sub, hit the bell, become part of this channel by becoming a subscriber, at the very least, a member if you really want to get into it. Doug, hope we can get Tranquil back next season. He has been outstanding for us. Dan would say he's a dude. He is
Absolutely.
a dude. I agree that I want him back. I think it happens as well. What do you think?
He's not going anywhere. Like they're not going to let that guy walk out the building. They have a great foursome at linebacker with Leo Chanel playing much improved football this year. And honestly, having Drew Tranquil's flexibility there, and when you have injuries, it is so important to be able to lean on a Drew Tranquil or a Nick Bolton or a Willie Gay or a Leo Chanel. This linebacker situation for them is perfect. He's not going anywhere, in my opinion.
Yeah, they are athletic. I think they bring Willie back too. I don't think either of them are going to break the bank. I think they can get it done, and I think they should get it done, because if you have to put in time to develop a left tackle or to develop a wide receiver, you got to have the defense do what it's doing now in order to stay relevant, in order to have a chance to win games. So I do think that Veach will recognize that, and they'll get the linebackers back. Jacob, just real quick, Igbukah is, again, I think underrated because he plays with Marvin Harrison. I didn't see a pullback. I see a lot of people saying that he's not as intense, isn't playing as cleanly as he did last season. I don't see that very much. I think the matchups are a little bit more, but I would put it that the DBs that he's facing had matured a little bit more than he had regressed. I do not see that. I see he's a high day 2 guy. I don't know if he'll break the top 50, but I do think he'll probably make second round pretty easily.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a second round player, and he's a good player. I don't think he's a 2 in the NFL. I think he's more of a 3. And again, that's perfectly fine. Right now, we don't even know if he's going to declare. Like, he's still trying to figure out. I thought that I saw a report saying he was going back, but that just shows you that he's still trying to figure out what to do with his future. There's a very good chance he goes back and tries to become a top 20, 15 pick next year. Like that's a very within the realm of possibilities thing for him. If he's going to be a day 2 pick, you want to get some money, that's what you end up doing. Yeah. So, and then he can go to the Senior Bowl. Like, honestly, there's a lot going into Igbukah's situation. If he comes out, he'll be a day 2 guy for me.
I completely agree with you there. I will say this too. I hope he comes out. Kyle McCord leaving OSU to go to Syracuse, of all places, is a huge mistake on McCord's part. You'll probably see something on NFL 33 from me on that. And I think, unfortunately, Igbukah is one of the guys that has to rely on somebody being in the system. They might get a transfer portal wonder, but walking into that offense, I'm just not sure that Ryan Day is going to be able to convert that and give Igbukah everything he needs to take that step forward into the top 20. And he's so dependent on the quarterback play. I feel it's a risk. I would like to see him come out and just be a day 2 guy. We'll see.
It is a risk, but honestly, the quarterback play couldn't get much worse than Kyle McCord. I'll be very honest.
Okay.
Kyle McCord is pretty bad.
I thought he had some problems, but I didn't think it was that bad. There's a whole lot of ways to get worse. We'll see who wants.
But they're going to be getting a transfer. Like they're going to get someone that's better, in my opinion, than McCord. Otherwise, he would have stayed. Like the plans for Ohio State is they're saying we're going to get a better quarterback. Sorry, McCord, you're not going to be the guy next year. Like they told him that, and he was like, "Fine, I'm out." That's what I think.
Fair enough. Yeah, and that's probably the situation as well. I think it's a mistake. I'd have stayed there until you got somebody because did DJ come up with a landing spot yet?
Not yet. Not that I know of.
Because I mean, if you look at like the stature and the athleticism of some of the guys that they've had in the past, I think DJ might be a fit there, but I don't know. We'll see. See if Oregon State bought him some goodwill. Jacob, thanks for the question, and we will definitely get into all the draft prospects that you need to know on NFL33.com. We'll have the draft guide from Rogue Analytics, RogueAPC.com. As always, we'll have our grading scale. We're adding some new guys to help us out, so Dan and I won't be doing it. And EJ taking care of the DBs and us doing the rest. So we're gonna expand the crew a little bit, hopefully quite a bit. Knock on wood. We'll see what happens. But either way, we're going to be here for you guys on this Christmas Day game. Have a wonderful holiday. Enjoy your Christmas Eve. We'll all be watching at the same time around Kansas City and around the world. So thank you very much for your support here on the channel. And Dan, I hope you, Avery, and Mama have a great time. Enjoy your Christmas.
Everybody, please have a safe and happy holidays. I don't know what we're doing on Monday. I don't know what we're doing yet. But all I know is that we're going to have a nice weekend, and I hope you all have yourselves a fantastic Christmas, holidays, whatever you guys celebrate. Have a great day. Enjoy the Chiefs playing against the Raiders. This is a nice time. I've never watched the Chiefs on Christmas before. It's going to be a very fun day. So I'm excited.
Thank you, Knicks fan, for sneaking one in on me too. And I like the OBJ. I think that means object, but I just wanted to say it. So have a great holiday. We'll catch you post game at some point. We'll probably be pretty quick. Be prepared for a stream that we can enjoy, celebrate, give you the lowdown, and then get on down the road for Christmas dinner. So have a great one, and we'll talk to you then.